But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. Let me tell you about my great God.
Hey guys, Pastor Tim here. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you're ready to get your day started off in God's Word. We are on 1 Kings chapter 10, just kind of humming along here. And like we talked about last chapter, we're starting to see the steady decline of Solomon in these couple of chapters here. And we start off today's chapter with the visit of the Queen of Sheba. That's all she's really given as a name. The Queen of Sheba. She comes and she hears of the glory of Solomon and of Israel, and she wants to inquire of, what is this really all about? What is causing this? And Solomon, he says, hey, any question you have, I'll answer it for you. And she even asks about the Lord. And at the end of her trip, she ends up, acknowledging that, yeah, it's because of the Lord that you're able to have this success. This is why you're greatly blessed. And Jesus Christ actually used this as an example to warn the Jews in the book of Matthew, saying, hey, the Queen of Sheba, when she saw everything that God did, she acknowledged the blessing of God, the might of God, because of what Solomon was saying. But now you have someone much greater than Solomon in your midst talking to you, all right? And yet they rejected Christ still. So it was kind of a warning unto them, and he used what the Queen of Sheba went through as an example of that. And then the chapter goes on, and it really just ends with just everything Solomon is accumulating unto himself, thing after thing, horses after horses, in disobedience to God's law. All right, in the book of Deuteronomy, it talks about how the king is not to multiply unto himself horses. He does that. Multiply unto himself chariots and armies, and he does that. Multiply unto himself wives, and Solomon definitely does that a whole lot. And he's just disregarding God's word at this point, and it's kind of shocking to see that the man at the beginning of his reign, who was humble enough to ask the Lord when he said, hey, Solomon, is there anything you want from me? Ask it and I'll give it unto you. Didn't ask for fame, didn't ask for great riches and land. No, he asked for wisdom, a very humble thing to ask for. Well, now he's at this point where all he does care about is gaining more land, gaining more money, gaining more riches to glorify and honor himself, not to glorify and honor the Lord. This chapter, it starts off in verse 7 when he's talking with the Queen of Sheba. It says he was filled with wisdom and knowledge, and then it ends in the chapter. It says riches of the, and so forth. So he goes from wisdom to riches, and the Bible talks about those that desire to be rich, they can fall easily into temptation and into a snare. And something kind of occurred to me here in this chapter is, Solomon just got done building a temple, doing something greatly significant for the Lord, definitely spiritually, and it kind of reminds me how sometimes we can tend to rest on our past victories, so to speak. Maybe Solomon was thinking, I've done a great thing for the Lord. I built his house, his temple, and it's very extravagant. It's very glorious. Now I'm going to enjoy myself and indulge in things that I want. And sadly, that's sometimes the approach some Christians use as well. Like, I've done something good for God. Now I'm going to do something good for myself. Or I've went to church on Sunday. Now I'm going to live my way the rest of the week. Something like that. It's very important, guys, that we do not rest on our past victories. All right? Those are a blessing. Those are great things that God has privileged us to do. But do not rest on your past victories. Continue to press forward towards the mark of the high calling of God. Continue to grow in the Lord. All right, there is no standing still when it comes to living for Christ. You're either moving forward or you're falling backward. You're either drawing nigh unto God or you're drawing further away from him. Don't rest thinking you're good, think you've attained some sort of spiritual peak or something like that, because that's not going to happen, guys. We're not perfect. We're not going to be perfect ever here on this earth. So it's always important that we're always continuing learning, that we're always continuing growing in the Lord. And that's why I'm always trying to stress it's very important that we keep up in God's word, in our devotional life, learning more of him, writing in that journal. I hope you guys are still being faithful in your journal and continuing to grow and mature our relationship with Jesus Christ. That's all I got for today's chapter, guys. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless.